Sit down like you like comedy, don't you?
Everyone likes to laugh. We were just like stare at them.
Huge cake, and we used like this much.
Okay.
Like maybe pushing it, we could say we used a third, but that's because I cut really big slices. Yeah.
Oh, heavens.
They weren't that large. They were like half that size.
I eat all my cake. I don't say no to cake. So let's move on from that. The alumni event we have is our next professional development event, and that's scheduled for March 20th. But the problem we're running into now is we've been trying to get alumni to come, and without much success. So far we have 4. 2 of them are online who are going to join us over Skype. Actually, last year's president and vice president will Skype in for a little bit. Then we have 2 live people, and the thing is we want to try to get as many colleges as we can represented, and 3 of the 4 people are from the College of Ed. I mean, which, yay, education, but that's not really going to appeal to a broad crowd.
Yeah, it's
so.
not really representative, so.
No, the problem is, some of it is the timing, because it's at 4. And a lot of, that's what I'm running into, is that if they've gone into academia, they're teaching a class.
Yeah, that's a common, time.
And they can't get away. So, so some of the problem is just because it's 4 to 6. That's some of the problem. Others are that they're, I have a standard meeting that time.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know how to really address that. The other thing is that the alumni office has really gotten kind of cross channels. And so I had contacted them, I'd gone in and then I had contacted them and they never ever responded. And then someone out of the office randomly responded to Kelly on Facebook. Like, hey, we'd like to help. I'm like,
were you able to hook up with him or set up a meeting with him?
I've emailed and I still have gotten nothing.
Okay.
So I don't know what to do about that. So I mean, they seem like, yeah, this would be great. This is what we do. And
right.
Yes, I know. We've already contacted you. So I'm waiting on someone else from the College of Sciences.
Okay.
So I have another person that might. We'll see.
I also get that ODU alumni magazine because Mark is an alum, and I went through it to look for alumni. You know how they have the class notes saying, so I found 2 with graduate degrees from here and emailed them, and that's a little bit creepy, but maybe that'll work. But that I'm starting to get desperate here.
No, entirely, because the people I know from my master's degree, they're not in the area. They're all working oceanographers, but they're not here. So
yeah,
I didn't want more Skypers.
Right.
Kind of
I think 2's plenty. Right, and Dr. Lewis has helped us out. She has a meeting every week with the Graduate Advisory Council. It's called GAC for short, and she put it out there. Hey, GSO is looking for alumni, and actually, I think someone got the message because I've been getting some responses, but they're, again, the College of Ed. So for us, but I mean, again, we want, and we did have someone from the College of Business, but she wasn't able to attend after all. She actually tried rearranging her flight schedule to accommodate us, which was really nice that she tried, but couldn't make it work. So if you think of any other way or know anyone, even if it's a long shot, we'd appreciate it. I'm thinking that if we don't get a few more, we might have to cancel this one and try again next year or something. But so we'll keep slugging away, and we'll have to make that call, I guess, pretty soon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'll try again on Monday.
Right. We didn't say we can't. We didn't try, so we did try.
No, you know what? I got that alumni magazine. I'll check with a few department heads and see if I can make a little bit more inroads on that.
Great. Super.
Yeah, if we've got College of Ed, I'll just go with the others, and I'll be obnoxious and walk.
Hey.
Hi.
Can I get some?
I need an alumni now.
Right. All right. So we have a couple things coming up with the National Umbrella Organization. The Southeast Regional Conference is happening at George Mason, which we mentioned last time, and that does cost money to attend. I registered just for myself, and I'm just going to drive up to Arlington for the day and participate and hopefully get some good information and meet some fun people there. And then we got funding to attend the legislative piece, which starts that Saturday. So we got money from SGA to stay in hotels in DC, and we have 6 people who said they wanted to go, but 2 of them haven't confirmed that they still want to go. So I'm not really certain on that, but at least 4 of us will be going, which is super. And that's a good chance to network and meet people. And part of the conference involves getting training to do some lobbying with your legislators. And hi, thanks for coming. And we have an appointment with Senator Tim Kaine, actually, on Monday, which is super cool. I don't know if he'll be there himself or just saying hi to us, or if it's a staffer, I'm not really sure. But they did respond, which is cool. And Mark Warren's office said they would be in touch to try to get a staff-level meeting. And actually, the National Legislative Director, her name is Meredith, is from Maryland, and she actually got in touch with one of the Virginia representatives. It's not someone who represents our district or hers, but he's like an important committee person, so she invited us to come along with her at her meeting. I don't think it's secured yet, but she's trying to work on that. So, we have some opportunity to really put that in practice and say, hey, can you give money to Virginia? And
Please.
Right, higher ed, can you support research and graduate students? I don't really know the issues on the national level, but that's one of the things we'll learn at the training. So it'll be really cool and it'll be fun. So thanks to SGA, we get to go. And we'll talk after, I think, about those of us who are going. And we might have 2 open spots if anyone decides they want to go, if I don't hear back from those other 2 people. So Grad Appreciation Week, that is the very first week in April, and we have a few things in the works for that, which should be good. On April 4th, which is a Thursday, we are going to have like a coffee hour, actually more like 2.5 hours. And we'll have some desserts, and that'll be for graduate assistants as well as GSO members. So that'll just be an opportunity to come by, have some snacks, and to say thanks for the hard work that we do. And sometimes we don't pat ourselves on the back because we're too busy to do so, but we deserve it. So
can you repeat the date?
It is Thursday, April 4th, from 1:30 to 4 o'clock, right here in Webb Center, the James River Room. And we'll start advertising that in the near future. Candy bars is an idea Rolita brought up last time, and I found out that we have 665 graduate assistants that work on campus. So I'm thinking we can order a couple bulk packages of like mini candy bars and then maybe attach labels or notes to them and then distribute them. And Missy Barber in Graduate Studies said that she would be glad to give us the information about where their mailboxes are located. So that's just, a fun little surprise, and that's a great idea. And our budget does have money for the candy bars, so that's a good one. And we've also been working on getting some discounts for graduate students in the Monarch Village, and Kelly has been in touch with Borjo about possibly getting a discount that Thursday night of April 4th. But it's not confirmed, so we're not starting to really say much about it, but she has been working on that. And Dr. Lewis gave us permission to go ahead and contact other local businesses for discounts. So we're free to, ask if you think of a place that might be good to get a discount at, or a business owner who might be willing. That would be great. So we'll have a few nice little things going on. And
is there any credential to show someone that you're a graduate student rather than an undergraduate?
Right, that's the tricky thing. Because our student IDs don't really differentiate. And we're not going to say to people, oh, you must have your letter saying that, your admissions letter. Like, who says that? Well, I do, but I'm kind of a nerd. So I don't know that we can really differentiate. Maybe they won't, maybe it won't matter too much.
I realized I still had mine.
I'm thinking we're just going to have to be on the DL and just kind of keep it amongst ourselves.
Right.
Not that, undergrads don't deserve a break too, but I don't really think that there's any way we can.
I ran into that situation once before where the first time I went to the library, because there are extra services that are offered to graduate students and undergraduates, and I had no way,
to prove
without
it.
like my acceptance letter or something
Right.
to show. So I don't know if it'd be worthwhile changing the student ID card to reflect graduate student status.
I wonder if we could maybe give out stickers or something to like put in the back. Yeah, we could do that. Thanks. Think about it.
That would be nice.
And maybe like, hey, if you want to get these discounts, come by somewhere.
I'm doing like the coffee hour.
Yeah, exactly. Or we could set up like office hours somewhere. Like you and I are always here. We live here. And we could, I'm sure Jana, when she's in the office, wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
So we could maybe.
When I'm not in the field in the mornings. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's,
You can come by my wetland. I don't mind. Out there.
You can trudge through the mud and ice.
If it's nice and if it's a nice tick season, you can help collect. Walk you through recycling. Be like, Annie, you use your sticker.
I'm good on collecting ticks.
Oh man.
No, I'm just not into bugs. Not my thing. And I mentioned last time we have seats reserved for a Tides game that's Sunday, May 5th. We haven't started advertising that, but keep it on your radar. And last time we agreed that the first 20 GSO members to sign up would get a free ticket because we have money allocated for that. And anyone beyond 20 and anyone who wants to be a guest, like boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, neighbor, mom, dad, kid, will pay $11 a seat, which isn't too bad. We have good box seats pretty close to the home team's dugout. So, and that's prime, real estate in terms of like getting a T-shirt tossed at you. So I was strategic about that.
That's what it's all about at the end of the day, whether or not we can get a T-shirt.
Exactly. So that's what's going on with the Tides game. We'll start talking about that soon. Last time we also talked about setting up a health insurance meeting with Jenny Foss because there are a lot of concerns that graduate students aren't offered health insurance, and some of the international students are upset about things that they're paying for that they shouldn't really have to be, and they're also upset about the price increase. It doubled, I think, last year, or between this year and last year. And I mentioned it to Dr. Lewis, and she's been talking to Johnny Young from C's to get that facilitated. We felt like we would get a better shot if she kind of was going to bat for us. Yeah, and I know she's asked the question, but so far we don't have anything firm. So keep pushing for that, because even if nothing gets accomplished with it, at least we need to advocate for ourselves. And again, we do have health insurance through the national organization, but it's not so great. It might meet someone's needs, but so also with parking, we sent out a survey back in November, and we maxed out the responses, the 100 responses from SurveyMonkey, and we composed a letter to the Graduate Advisory Council, and we put it out to the membership so we could get feedback on it, and submitted it to GAC. And I asked Dr. Lewis by email this week how it went, because this was just like last Thursday when she presented it. Haven't heard back about that, so I'll keep everyone posted. And the purpose of that was to try to get faculty staff parking for all graduate assistants, including research assistants who don't get it at the present. And we have data to say that students really want that, just because of the safety issue of having to park far away and staying late at night is a concern. With a faculty staff spot, that would kind of ameliorate that problem a little bit. All right. And sometime in the near future, Eva, who's the graduate assistant from the Office of Graduate Studies, she is going to put together a newsletter edition that features success stories of graduate students. So she's going to be reaching out to us about that. And I don't know the specifics that she's looking for, but basically she'll just want maybe a short biographical sketch from our members saying, like, these are some great things you did this year. I went to a conference, I got a journal article accepted, or all the good things that we do. So hopefully we can get some good GSO representation with that. That'll be a good thing. So she's going to work on that soon. Elections. So all of the executive board positions, president, vice president, public relations chair, secretary, and treasurer are up for grabs for the upcoming academic year. And this year we're doing something a little bit different to make it more democratic and open for people. What we'll be doing is having people apply like usual. We have a form already on OrgSync. If you go on our GSO OrgSync site, if you go under the Files tab, the application's already there, and I'll be emailing that out to everyone. What people will do is fill that out, respond to the questions, and then we're going to put that, again, on our OrgSync site so that all of our members have access to reading the applications and seeing what people are saying to support their candidacy. So those applications will be due on April 8th. Elections are going to be April 18th, so people have 10 days to review all of the applications online. at our April 18th meeting, the candidates who are running who can be here will make a few statements at our meeting to support their candidacy and say, vote for me. And then at noon on that day, from noon to 5 o'clock, we'll have a poll on OrgSync for voting. So that way, if you couldn't physically be here at the meeting, you can still vote, which I think will be a good thing, because in the past it's only been if you were at the meeting you could vote, and that, that's not fair to someone who's at a conference that day and really wants to have their say. So I just feel like that's the more fair way of doing it. And if anyone has any further suggestions about it, we're certainly open to that. So hopefully we get some people to run. And the way it's set up now is you have to be a GSO member to access the application. But, anyone can join our group. So anyone who's thinking, I want to be secretary next year can just join and then have access to it. So and we'll start working on that soon. Chris made a flyer that I didn't have a chance to print off today. But that information will be going around. So hopefully we'll get some good candidates for office next year. Hopefully maybe some people in this room will want to do that. So.
Please.
Hint, hint. So, still have a cough. So that's that. Also in April, there's an opportunity to do a little bit of community service on campus on Sunday, April 7th from noon to 5 in the Constant Center. There's the International Festival, which is a community event that's held at Old Dominion, and student organizations are welcome to sign up as volunteers. So I'll be sending some information about that soon to our membership, and I think it's a great deal because you get a free t-shirt out of it if you're picked as a volunteer. And I'm all about free t-shirts, so yeah, I don't know how they select their volunteers, but we can certainly put our names in, so I don't mind doing that on the group's behalf once we have some names of people who wanted to go. I think I'm going to go myself. I think it sounds like fun, and I like free stuff. So the SGA budget for next year was due last week, and we put in our request, and that's all done, so we're good to go on that. We requested about, was it 5,700-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the money we put in was for the National Umbrella Group to maintain our membership for next year. They also have an annual national conference. This year it's in Michigan, so we put in money to send some students to Kalamazoo, Michigan. I didn't even think that was a real place until I looked it up. I'm like, oh, it's real.
Michigan State, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just thought that was like an imaginary place, like Timbuktu, but then I found out Timbuktu is also real. Too. It's real. Who would think? But it's just a funny name. So that was some of our budget money. We also put in money requests for a few professional development things. Like right now, Graduate Studies puts on like a little research forum in Web Center in the spring, but we were thinking it might be nice to do that as well in the fall, and also invite students from other local universities like Regent students or Norfolk State students, Hampton University, so we can kind of have a chance for students to network and get to see what they're up to. So it'll really just be poster sessions, and we put in money for things like coffee and space. So we had a bunch of other things, because that's certainly what I just mentioned doesn't amount to $5,700. I think maybe t-shirts too. We put in money for a Tides game again next year in 2014. Just a lot of miscellaneous stuff. So hopefully we get that. And Jana, do you want to speak on points and standards, where we stand?
So points and standards, actually I will bring up points and standards while we'll see if I can do this. So the big thing with points and standards is that they were revised. So happily, we have, they were revised in end of December and took effect in January. So some of the changes that ended up happening with, actually I think I have this as a document I can just pull up. Some of the things that ended up with points and standards is that we used to have to attend a spring and fall organizational fairs. Now as graduate students we can just have a table at the new graduate student orientation, which is much more suitable, and we got a ton of members this year from that. And it's a much smaller event, but we're not handing candy out to undergrads. We're actually meeting graduate students that would be interested in participating.
Something that's useful. Really.
Yeah, it's something that's useful. I was like, but anyway. So the big changes is that there is no longer an attendance Used to be that you had to have 25 to 50% to 150% a membership attendance, depending upon what the event was. There's no longer an attendance issue. The big points are someone goes to a budget meeting through SGA OSAL. You have 6 annual meetings, so we're fine on points and standards. The big thing that we still need to do, we have to have a co-sponsored event, which we've done.
Paul would count.
Yeah, you have to do a philanthropic event. So you have to do something to raise, but ours for charity, our the Christmas stockings, Christmas count. We're lacking a community service event, which is the one thing that we need to do. I'm just waiting to hear back. We have an opportunity to do a spring cleanup for Montessori's garden. I was a co-chair for that school when we started that garden anyway, so I think they'll be happy to have me back. I wrote a grant and got fruit trees for them, so they're usually cool about it. But that's the one point that we have not done. We also needed to attend leadership labs, which
we should be covered because
we're fine.
I know you and I have been to a few.
Yeah, and Kelly has too. You only have to put down the name of one person.
Okay.
So I've been trying to mix it up because between Kelly, you and I, between the executive committee, we've pretty much covered these things. And if you go into, I was trying to get in there and it wasn't letting me. If you go into OrgSync, you will find in a section under forms, you will find that they have the points and standards. So if you're looking to become an officer, just make sure that you do indeed take a look at that and you know what types of events. Our events pretty much hit it. I think the one thing is that philanthropy, you can't. They say that you can actually do it, but I know from a tax standpoint, because we're a nonprofit, we cannot raise money as a nonprofit for another nonprofit and donate that. So you just need to make sure that you don't do that. So that'll probably be the only event that ever challenges us. Doing a co-sponsored event, doing a community service is usually fairly straightforward. Holding your meetings, I was hoping this was going to let me in so that I could read these. But again, points and standards were fine. I've put everything. Oh, there it goes. Now it likes me. I've already put everything in, so we're just waiting on the community service. We can have multiple events for that type of standard that is required, but they're 10, and each is worth 10 percentage points of your. The reason they have the points and standards, it's a measure of what events you're doing, so that they can decide. We're going to give you this amount of budget, but this is your allotment. But how much of that are we going to actually award you? And that's based on, did you meet these standards? And each standard is 10% of your potential budget. So if we didn't have a community service event, they could go in and just, okay, you can have everything but 10%, and just take 10% off the top. So that's why these become such an issue for people, is they forget to do so our philanthropic event is 10% of our budget. So it's good to do stockings. Or go do a clothes drive or something, that sort of thing. But
yeah, and that was an easy one to facilitate.
Yeah, so that was, I was like, oh, goody.
And it made some little kids happy on Christmas morning, so.
Yeah, and that's, anything, okay, here it is. It's being a real pain in the butt. I wanted to make sure that you guys heard what they were. Okay, so you have to attend one budget workshop, attend an OSAL leadership development session. There are those leadership labs or lecture series that you see. Represented at the fall graduate student orientation, represented at the spring graduate student orientation. Hold one community service event per year. Hold one event per year, that's a generic. One co-sponsored event, one organizational fundraiser, 6 meetings, and one philanthropy. Our fundraisers have we had that one at Raising Cane's, we haven't made a good, actually fundraise very well, but those are other options that I know Kelly was looking into.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we should do a Panda Express fundraiser because they give an even bigger cut than Raising Cane's. Plus, it's right in Webb, whereas Raising Cane's, you kind of have to, hike over there, basically. And if we do it maybe during a time when grad students are here on campus instead of in the evening, maybe we'll be successful. And it's just so easy. We just basically sign a few forms and, hand out a few flyers. And
yeah, I think that would be.
But we did attempt a fundraiser, even though. No,
it doesn't. It doesn't. It just says when you fill out the thing, it just asks when you did it. It doesn't say how much did you get. It just says did you try.
Right.
So I think that's all you really needed to do. So it's it's not a I'm flipping through to see what we did. Yeah, that's the only thing that we have, because we've had a ton of meetings. We've had the community service. I've got it as a date. Also, if my Girl Scout troop has a stretch of Newport Newport Avenue over near DePaul Hospital, so I might send the organization hey, do you want to come? And then we can throw 2 in there rather than just 1.
Right.
And that's fine. It doesn't say the number of people that have to participate, and it's 1 mile of Newport.
Right.
So.
They're a lot more flexible than new points and standards than they have been in the past, which is great. Because, if we'd be done if we had to have like a 25% or 50% of our people come, because a lot of our students are actually distance students and they can't be here. They're not going to fly from Texas to come to a meeting on a Thursday. So that might be tough. But I think these are better. They're more flexible.
Definitely. Our co-sponsored was Programs All Weekend, wasn't it, with Robert Mack? That counts as a...
Oh, I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a pause. So.
Right. Yeah, I think we're pretty in good shape. And when we submitted the budget, we were very specific about what we were asking for and what it was going to go for to the penny, and we had backup for everything. So hopefully that'll help, which is what they're looking for. We're not just asking for, fishy, ambiguous things like we said. No, for this purpose, this is how much it costs. Staples.com said so. So.
Yeah, and I think that's really, especially with this group, I think that's, with this group, in SGA, I think that's really what they're looking for.
Right.
It's not a group going, we wish to party, and we're going to, that's not us.
Right. So hopefully that gives us a good shot of getting what we wanted, and what we wanted, I think, will have value to our organization. So open discussion. Any concerns or questions that we could talk about?
Or suggestions for points and standards events? What I'll do is I'll send this out to everyone too. So if you're if you're considering being an officer, you're just aware of what we've done, what sort of things. Really, what we put on the table as far as events, we're good on. You can change them and adapt them, but you just have to make sure that you make some. That it works. So, we're totally fine.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape.
And if anyone wants to clean out their closet, let me know, let me know, because we can round everything up and just make sure that the organization has a receipt or a copy of this receipt that you use for taxes.
Cool. So, any thoughts, questions?
Know any alumni?
Yeah, if anyone knows any alumni.
I was going to snag my husband because he got his master's here, but...
Why not?
It's 4 to 6 on a Wednesday. It's when the modeling simulation director has their big meeting every week.
Oh.
So it's right when, although every now and then they cancel it, so...
Maybe.
But it's always the last minute. It's like, honey, you're going to have to come and say, well, you're not... Can you play sick? Please.
I know. We'll have to make a decision soon if we don't get more people.
I have a couple other people that I can ask. But again, it's only sciences that I really have an in with. So.
That's fine. We all kind of know people in our own world. I'm concerned about getting engineering and business covered and health sciences too. I think those are the
wait,
three.
Wait. I might have a lead on health sciences because one of my funding people worked in health sciences. Let me ask Holly.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, if anyone thinks of any names or knows of anything, please let us know.
Engineering.
So health
Yeah,
sciences,
that'd be great.
business engineering, and then college of science. It's amazing that you're like,
Right.
how could we not?
I've reached out to a few faculty, like Dr. Pinto in engineering, and I don't think he knew anyone. So, but he did respond. So.
Okay.
So many of them leave the area.
Yeah, and I mean that's understandable, but some are, stick around.
Ooh, wait
So.
a minute. I just thought of another person.
Great. Yeah, ask like everyone you know.
Someone I just thought of someone.
Yeah.
I don't know if they graduated from here.
I mean, at this point, I'm almost wondering if we should ask people with undergraduate degrees who have gone on to be successful. But I mean, it defeats the purpose a little bit.
Well, I think that what we could do, if they're not, I think instead of going that way, we could just go with people that we know are working in their field and are local, but have had successful transitions out of graduate school. So we could change it from an alumni event to a graduate event. So, I mean, what was the transition for you going from graduate school to, workaday world? I mean, I think that would make it a little, it's not how did you use resources, because that may not be what they used. But then we could focus on, did you go into government service? Did you go into academia? Did you go into, private sector? What did you do?
Yeah.
That would be the way to open it up, because then you have somebody from engineering.
Right. Yeah, and I actually did last night go on the site for the state legislature to see who represents this area, and they have biographical sketches online, and I was trying to find an ODU grad alum, and I didn't. I was thinking that might be a fruitful direction, but
yeah, I mean, if we stick with young, it's I've got the market on the old geezer group. I can say that. They were referring to themselves the other day that way.
Yeah, I don't care how old people are. If they're brand new and more successful, or if they've been out for a long time, I think.
It's a retirement community. They're all 70s.
No,
70s.
No, that would be great.
We can basically turn them on. I just don't know if.
Do it. At this point, we gotta shake every tree and see what falls out.
I've got Harbor's Edge. I've got that whole big tower of people.
Yeah. Okay.
And there are lawyers, there are business people.
Great.
There are just all kinds of people.
We want everyone who is willing to come.
That's good. They might want to be mentors to people.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why we're doing it. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to do that, if we want to go, I was really trying the angle of you've explored this recent market and you understand the technologies and how you can use them to search and how you can get placed. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we want people that have the traditional. I went to school, I got my degree, and I worked in this industry for 30 years. I've got a bunch of those. But
That's
I don't know
fine,
how beneficial that discussion would be with them, because you don't work in an industry for 30 years anymore. You're lucky if you get 20. And by then, you're chomping at the bit to job switch. So that was why I had held off, because I have Harbor's Edge. Walk in there and
right. I think a mix is appropriate though, because we do have some people who just got their degrees and know the market right now. But if we have some people who have been in a while, I don't think that hurts. So, and again, they could be mentors.
Yes.
So I think we need to
Well,
explore all options.
At this point, we'll definitely explore all options.
Yeah, we have to. We got to get people locked down.
I'll get Chris to make a nice flyer for me, and we can post it in the Harbor's Edge elevators, so they're up and down. Make my mother-in-law talk them up.
That's fun. All right. Any other questions or any discussion points? Okay, I guess we're all done for today then. I'll be in touch with more information about what we talked about today. Thank you for coming, everyone, on this lovely Thursday.
Lovely, beautiful, cool.